I can't tell you how excited we are to honor the two people we are honoring tonight. As a board member and as president of the board of the Centerville, Washington Foundation, I can tell you that every one of our board members was just thrilled with this year's nominees. I mean, Bob and Bernita, there is nobody that exemplifies community founder better than those two people. So,
Come up.
This is to show you how this organization has has relied on Bob Daly. But he showed up today. He says, "Jack, yeah, did you think about the plaque?" I said, "Oh, I didn't even know we had one." Well, we have a plaque with all the past honorees, and he said, "I took the time. I got our names engraved." So Carol, in the notes for next year, make a note that we'll get the plaque taken care of. So first of all, I want to present that to you. And that will be on display and remembered forever.
Thank you.
You probably know what this is, but we'd like to present this. I have never seen such a great picture in all my life, and Bob Yeck was able to
Wonderful job.
Oh gosh, I never wondered.
He wanted to save the paper.
Oh, no.
So with that, the last word belongs to Mr. Daly.
I'll leave you.
Just for the moment. Wow. And I had when they came up with this idea, I said, okay, but let's make it a roast and so we can have some laughs. As it's been said, I am unaccustomed to being up front, and I've been to all 11 Founders events, and my place has always been out there at the registration desk, hanging up coats in the back room, or taking pictures. And I am reminded, though, that President Kennedy came to Ohio in March 1961. He didn't win the election. He didn't win Ohio in the 1960 election, but he came for the first fundraising event of his presidency. And he said, "I'm touched," as he looked over the crowd, but not as deeply as you've been. And thank you all. I want to introduce my family. I don't get much chance to do this. You've met my bride of 57 years. My sister Rosemary, my other sister Helen, and her husband Bill Macbeth, our son John, and his fiancée Lorena Esparza, my sister-in-law Joanne, and a niece, Jan Willis, and her husband Damien, and another niece, Jackie, and Dr. Susan Fremont. She is Governor Gilligan's widow. I followed the governor's career for more than 50 years. He was my mentor, and I loved him like a brother. And Jack and Susan are wonderful members of our extended family. I have a long list of thank yous, and I know the time is running at the critique next week. there'll be some concern about running overtime, but I do have a couple of things I want to say, so bear with me. And the first, in a long list of thank yous, is to say thank you to my bride, Bernita. I promised her that she wouldn't have to speak here tonight, but I didn't say I wouldn't talk about her. She knows from years of experience what I am about to share with you now. I'm not much help around the house. I take out the trash, dry the dishes. She won't let me wash anymore because I broke one of her heirlooms. And I bring in the mail. I can change a light bulb, but I never had to change a diaper. Not because I wanted to shirk my parental responsibilities, though. Although we have not talked about it, I didn't get a chance because I know she thought and would think that I wasn't capable. If the task, other than taking out the trash, drying the dishes, or bringing in the mail, is too tough for her, she calls on our son John. He put in the window in our front porch storm door Sunday evening, for example. If the task is too much for son John, she calls in a professional handyman or contractor. Her list is longer than Angie's. Admittedly, she carries a disproportionate share of the upkeep from our home, which gives me time to get out and about in the community, for which I am deeply grateful. At this late date, it would be difficult for me to change my ways, and I enjoy her indulgence. After I thought about using that word this morning, I thought I'd better check the meaning of indulge. The dictionary offers several synonyms for indulge: pamper, humor, spoil, baby, and mollycoddle. And they all come close. But to express my heartfelt gratitude, I have a token gift that I picked up at Mount Washington in New Hampshire a couple of weeks ago. I carried it with me on the bus through Vermont to Montreal, on the train to Quebec, on the bus to Bar Harbor, on the bus to Boston, the train to New York, the airplane to New York, the airplane to Chicago, and home and to the golf club here at Yankee Trace this evening. So my princess, come forward for the presentation.
I could wring your neck.
She said I could wring your neck. She hadn't seen anything yet. I'm going to stand back.
Oh dear. This is what I thought was. Yeah, there was again.
You better read it to the.
Men are God's gag gift to women. Thank you.
And I want to say, I know that we're running over time on the schedule. I do want to say a quick thanks to everybody who spoke. And to Doctor, thank you. Maxine just came from a Kettering Foundation board meeting yesterday. I wasn't there, but I was at the last board meeting in the Hay Adams in Washington. And David Matthews said I'd been around a long time and wasn't going to retire. And I told him and the board, I'm so happy at the Kettering Foundation. I've been there for over 38 years that they'll carry me out. To Kim at the library, you know, the joy of working for the library is to see the young mothers with the kids 4 and 5 years old coming in to learn to read, which is so important. That's a great community service. These are all great community services. Paul, actually, I thought he was reading the letter or the speech I made or should have made about Cynthia. Cynthia was my boss at Hithergreen for the last several years, and all those accolades should go to Cynthia. She's the one who made Hithergreen and has done great work over the last 2.5 years, leading the merger of Hithergreen Center to become the Enrichment Center at Washington Township. Jack Darcy. I called him at his home in California last Thursday just to make sure that we had our story straight. But he told more stories than we had, the script that we had agreed on. But I tell you, the one thing about Jack, he introduced me to cigarettes and 3-2 beer. And he taught me how to drive in his mother's Chrysler convertible. And all of you can remember where you were when John Kennedy was assassinated, or the Twin Towers. I can remember where I drove his mother's convertible up over the curb, and it impaled up on top of the curb, and I couldn't get it off. I had to get out of the driver's seat, and he had to back it off. Cynthia, thanks so much for all your help at Hithergreen. Rich, thanks for the Cable Council. I went to the Cable Council as a volunteer in the mid-1980s because I needed to learn about television. At the Kettering Foundation, they were early on to bring in a TV and a VHS. And I was in a meeting with David Matthews and Brother Ray and others, and they wheeled in the TV. And somebody, David, I expect, the boss, handed me a VHS and said, "Turn it on." I had no idea. I had no idea what to do. I turned to Bernie Merchland and said, "Here, put that in for me, will you?" He said, "The hell with you." He didn't know either. Vicki, the Historical Society is a great service to the community. The history of this community is very important. And the story about the speaker's kit, Cynthia, when Jack began his Senate run in 1968, I traveled with him. We were putting together a show on the road. Well, you know, 10, 12, 15 hours on the road, that's tough duty for all day. We'd go out on Monday morning and get home on Saturday night. And so he and I would travel. We'd be in an airplane, for instance, and some advanced man would meet us in Akron and then drive us to Cleveland, and we'd get back in the airplane. But we had to have a drink at the end of the day. So there was a little, what was called a speaker's kit, because it was a travel kit for a couple bottles of booze. Always had to have a bottle of scotch, and it was small and portable, and that had to be every stop. When I got out of the airplane, look for the speaker's kit. I don't think it ever failed to show. And Carol, the photographer, she is a very good photographer, and she does very well. Her pictures in the Park District's brochures have been good. Hilda, that was nice about talking about Bernita at the fashion show today. She was a model, and I brought out the display here tonight, and I went home to pick her up, and she was all dressed up to come out here. I said, "Is that a new dress?" She said, "Oh yes, she's got a new dress," to my great surprise. And then Rosemary pointed out the fact that she has a new necklace on that she must have picked up at the fashion show. And Bernita was quick to point out it was a 40% discount. I want to knock, I think, have I covered everybody? Rosemary. This is proof that kid sisters are the same the world over. But I want to get on to thank the Foundation's Events Committee, Carol Farquhar, and all the members. and all the members of the foundation board. And thanks to all of you who have given so generously. The return on your investment will come as a share of foundation grants yet to be made, like the ones that have already gone to hungry children, to wounded warriors, to battered women, to those in our community with special needs, like warm-up jackets for 70 athletes on the Special Elk track team, for the Centerville, Washington History, for Hither Green Center, the Recreation Department, Washington Township, and Stubbs Park, and the Police Department, and the Police Academy alumni, the City of Centerville, to the Diversity Council, to Americana, and to TJ's Place of Hope. The foundation was founded in 1998, as you may recall. Sally Beals was a charter member. I joined the board around 2000. There were 5 members on the board then. Over the years, we have amended the bylaws several times and are now authorized 13 members. Recruiting for the last 2 board classes has been better than Urban Meyer's record, and our board is now stronger than ever. 2014 was a record year for the foundation. We awarded $10,000 in grants. This year, we awarded $14,000 in grants, an increase of $14,000. 14,000 in grants, an increase of 40%. Paul is the math major in our class. Board members, please stand up and be recognized. Former board members, too. Sally, Jack, Karen, Judy, John, Glenn, Denny, Richard, Jean, Paul. Is that everybody? Doris. Oh, of course. Doris was on the board. Were you a founding member? Yes. Doris was 2 founding members was here. In this group of overachievers, I'm the water boy. I tell my friends at UD that at the top of my bucket list is to live another 20 years and see NCR's 115 acres built out. On that occasion, I will hire a UD student to drive me around the campus. Then I'll ask her to drive me out here for a tour of the city of Centerville and Washington Township just to see how things are going. Thank you.